Hey there, amazing teachers! Let me ask you a very personal, very serious question. Have you ever found yourself halfway through class circling the same sentence so many times your students start finishing it before you do, and you start questioning your life choices? Or maybe you've launched into an enthusiastic explanation of a target structure only to look up and realize that you've entered full TED Talk mode and your students are mentally somewhere between Mars and Minecraft? If so, welcome. You're not broken. You're just teaching comprehensible input for the first time. CI is powerful, flexible, and absolutely life-changing. But transitioning to it, let's just say it's a bit like trying to switch to veganism in a steakhouse. You think you're doing it right, but somehow there's still bacon. That's why in this video we're diving into the top 5 mistakes teachers make when switching to CI. The classic stumbles that even the most passionate educators fall into when they first leave the land of the textbook and enter the wonderful and slightly weird world of comprehensible input. But don't worry, we're not just naming the problems and walking away like a mysterious curriculum coach in a fog machine. Oh no, we're breaking each one down with ridiculously easy fixes, stuff you can use tomorrow, even if today was already a train wreck. If you've ever circulated yourself into a coma, explained a word until it lost all meaning, or clung to a script like it was the last floaty in a grammar tsunami, then this is the video you didn't know you desperately needed. Let's fix these CI flubs together, laughing all the way, because let's face it, we've all been there. Ready? Let's dive in. Let's talk about circling, the bread and butter of beginner CI teachers, and the reason so many students have mastered the art of smiling politely while mentally checking out. Now, circling can be magic. It can reinforce structures, keep everyone in the target language, and give students the repetition they need to actually acquire language. But, and this is a big, bold, flashing lights kind of but, only when used in moderation. Because when you circle too much, oh boy, you go from comprehensible to please make it stop in about 2 repetitions flat. You know it's gotten out of hand when students start mouthing the questions before you say them, or when they answer you before the words are even out of your mouth. Or worst of all, when someone whispered, "She's going to ask it again," and you do. This is not CI. This is being trapped in a linguistic version of Groundhog Day, and the only thing anyone's acquiring is a headache. So what's the fix? Simple. No, really, it's almost suspiciously simple. First strategy is the 2 times max rule. Ask a question once to check comprehension, ask it again to reinforce and confirm, then stop. No follow-up, no dramatic pause for effect. Just move on. If they got it, great. If they didn't, circling it 12 more times won't help. It'll just make them hate llamas. Strategy 2, red light, green light. Here's how this works. You're mid-circling. You ask, does a llama eat tacos? And before you finish, they all scream yes. That's a red light. They're too far ahead of you. So hit the brakes. Switch it up. Throw in a curveball. Does the llama eat tacos with ketchup? And now we're back in the green light territory. New input, new surprise, new opportunity for laughs and learning. Strategy 3, let students take over. If you're exhausted from repeating the same question 10 different ways, guess what? So are they. So flip the script. Let them ask each other questions about the content. You say, the llama lives in the gym, and then turn to the class and say, okay, what do you want to know about the gym llama? You'll get gems like, does it bench press or is it in PE class? Congratulations, you just leveled up your input and your sanity. Look, circling isn't bad, but it's like hot sauce. Too little and things are bland. Too much and everyone's crying and reaching for the milk. So remember, ask, confirm, move on. And if your students start predicting your next move like they're betting on a horse race, it's time to mix it up and let the weirdness flow. All right, gather round, my fellow language-loving educators, because this one hits home. You've probably been there. You introduce a new phrase, let's say le gusta el chocolate, and you just want to make sure they get it. So you do what any well-meaning, over-caffeinated teacher might do. You start explaining, and then you explain the explanation. And then, for good measure, you explain the thing you already explained in a slightly different way, just in case. And before you know it, you've turned your beautiful CI moment into a one-woman or one-man symposium on the etymology of the verb gustar, complete with bonus grammatical tangents and handouts nobody asked for. Meanwhile, your students are slowly sliding out of their chairs like melting popsicles, nodding blankly while their souls gently leave their bodies. Here's the deal. CI doesn't need your monologue. It needs your input. Rich, simple, repeated, interesting input. Not a dissertation on reflexive pronouns. Save that for the university wine and cheese conference. Professor Wordy McLectureface. So let's talk quick wins to ditch the over-explanation. First, the one-sentence rule. If you can't explain it in one short, clear sentence, you shouldn't be explaining it at all. CI isn't about defining terms. It's about making them make sense in use. So instead of saying gustar is a backwards verb that actually uses an indirect object pronoun because what's being liked is the subject even though it doesn't look like it, no. Just say le gusta means he likes. Watch this. And then dramatically mime someone kissing a chocolate bar like it's their soulmate. Boom. They get it. They see it. And nobody fell asleep. Next, mime before mouth. CI is a performance art. Folks, think less, professor, and more pantomime, pirate on a sugar rush. Show the meaning first. Use your arms. Use your face. If you have to pretend the invisible chocolate bar is attacking you, do it. Your elbows have more language teaching power than any PowerPoint slide ever made. Let them do the talking before your mouth jumps in. The awkward pause. Here's a challenge. Here's a radical idea. Say less, then wait. Just let the silence hang there like a suspenseful movie. Because when you stop talking, they start processing. And when you don't rush to fill every silence with another clarification, they have the space to figure it out. Trust the silence. Embrace the awkward. It's not dead air. It's learning time. So remember, CI is communication. It's conversation. It's interaction. If your input sounds like a TED Talk sponsored by the Department of Redundancy Department, it's time to zip it, gesture wildly, and let the language do the talking. And if you ever feel tempted to over-explain again, just remember, your face, your hands, and one good chocolate sound effect can do more than 100 words ever could. Okay, let's talk scripts. We've all done it, especially in the early CI days. You plan the perfect lesson. You write the lines. You craft every detail like it's opening on Broadway. You're like, I'm not just teaching. I'm starring in a one-act language performance about a cat named Felipe who goes to the dentist. And then the show begins. You deliver line 1. A student raises their hand and says, wait, why is a cat going to the dentist if he has no teeth? You freeze. Panic. That's not in the script. Suddenly you're spiraling. The scene falls apart. The script is toast. And you're ad-libbing, sweating, and frantically searching for a plot point to hang out into while Felipe, the toothless cat, becomes a total narrative train wreck. Here's the thing. CI doesn't need your script. It needs you. It needs your students. It needs the spontaneous, weird, wonderful magic that happens when everyone's actually listening and responding to each other like humans and not lines in a Shakespearean tragedy. So here's how to break the grip of the Scriptzilla. First, do the one-line plan. That's it. Just plan one opening sentence. One, there is a cat named Felipe. Done. That's your launch pad. From there, let student reactions, facial expressions, and their weirdest questions guide the rest. Spoiler alert, they'll probably take it somewhere better than your original ending about a dental hygiene anyway. Then you're going to want to use visual prompts instead of scripts. A photo, a meme, a drawing so bad it belongs in a toddler's museum of abstract regrets. It doesn't matter. Show it, ask a question, build your story or conversation together, like, why is this llama wearing sunglasses? Now you're not telling a story, you're co-creating one with students who feel seen and slightly confused in a good way. Bonus tip, have students bring in the visuals. Bring a weird picture tomorrow. We'll talk about it in Spanish. Boom, engagement, input, and zero prep. Then trust the student brain. Look, your students are chaotic, brilliant little plot machines. You say, there's a llama in the cafeteria. Someone says, is it eating pizza? Someone else adds, is it fighting the lunch lady? Congratulations, you have a compelling narrative with built-in comprehension. Let Kyle be weird. Let Maya ask if the llama has a TikTok. Run with it. Trust that if they build the story, they're going to care enough to stay in it and understand the language as it unfolds. So here's the big takeaway. Your script is cute, but it's not sacred, and it's definitely not more powerful than real, authentic interaction. The more freedom you give your students to shape the story, the more you get to relax and enjoy the ride. You're not auditioning for a Tony Award. You're teaching a language. And if Felipe the cat ends up on a jet ski in Brazil instead of the dentist chair, you did it right. Ah, yes, the vocabulary list. A timeless relic of old school language classes passed down through generations like a cursed artifact from the Indiana Jones franchise. Each week, a fresh stack of 20 random words with no context and no mercy. Just memorize these and maybe cry into your binder if you forget Almohada on the quiz. And look, I get it. We were trained this way. Most of us survived this way. I still have flashbacks of frantically memorizing words like silla and tijeras while quietly weeping into my flashcards. But here's the truth. Vocabulary doesn't stick because it's on a list. It sticks because it's used repeatedly in hilarious, emotionally ridiculous, messy, meaningful contexts that make your students go, oh yeah, that's the day we talked about that llama who robbed a bank. So let's say goodbye to the word list and hello to CI that actually works. And here's how. Use narrow input stories. Pick 5 to 7 target words. Build one story around them. Make it weird. Make it memorable. And bonus points if it makes 0 sense in real life, but perfect sense in your classroom. For example, okay class, there's a banana. It lives in a mansion. It's very rich. But it's sad. Now you've got lives, rich, is sad, and probably why. Because half the class just emotionally adopted that banana. And when vocab shows up in a storyline that causes laughter or genuine, what is happening energy, it gets locked in the brain forever. Then you're going to want to play vocab charades. Here's the game. You teach them the words through a story. Then you act them out. Then they act them out. Suddenly, your classroom looks like a badly choreographed mime convention, and it's amazing. Watch your students attempt to act out confused, runs, or wears a crown, using only interpretive dance and finger guns. It's glorious, and guess what? They'll remember every word because they had to become it. Also, the sillier you are, the more they'll commit. So yes, you should put on that cardboard crown you made from yesterday's cereal box. Long live Queen Profe. Finally, picture talk or meme talk. Sometimes all you need is one picture. It could be a llama wearing sunglasses, a baby riding a dog, a stock photo of someone dramatically eating salad. Show the picture, ask questions, use your vocab in context. Why is a llama wearing sunglasses? Is it famous? Does it go to your school? Is it in the principal? Is it dating the banana from the mansion? In 5 minutes, you've used your vocab words 10 times, created a ridiculous mental image, and hooked students who normally shut down the second you say, let's review vocabulary. The bottom line is, lists are forgettable, experiences are sticky, and if your students can learn 10 words from one ridiculous story about a millionaire banana who dates a fashionable llama, you've just taught more in 10 minutes than a week of list and drill ever could. So ditch the list, grab a llama, and let's make vocabulary unforgettable. Hey, quick question. Are your students actually listening to your CI stories? Or are they throwing paper airplanes while you're trying to explain that the banana is sad and rich? If you've ever tried to teach a beautifully scaffolded input-rich lesson while Johnny is doing cartwheels in the back and Mia is whispering spoilers from yesterday's Netflix binge, then you, my friend, need more than just comprehensible input. You need dynamic discipline. This course is your no-nonsense, zero-shame laugh while you learn guide to classroom management that actually works without becoming the dictator of the target language. Inside, you'll get instant strategies to stop behavior problems before they start. CI-friendly routines that keep kids engaged, even the I hate Spanish kid. And my personal favorite, ways to manage chaos without sacrificing joy or language acquisition. Because let's be honest, if you're spending more time redirecting than delivering input, you're not running a class. You're surviving an obstacle course. So hit pause on the paper airplanes and go grab your seat at mm.us/discipline. It's classroom control, CI style. Now, back to your regularly scheduled taco-eating llamas. Okay, let's get one thing straight. Comprehensible input is powerful. It's the secret sauce, the magic key, the Beyoncé of language teaching methods. But sometimes, in our desperate quest to provide more input, we accidentally morph into, well, robots. Input robots. Cold, mechanical, sentence-producing machines who just walk around the classroom saying things like, there is a student, the student has a cat, the cat is big, the cat is also purple, the cat is in the bathroom, and look, I respect your commitment to the target language. I see the effort. I feel the output flowing into the void like a beautiful rain of comprehensible drizzle. But here's the catch. Input is only engaging if it's also personal. If students can't connect to it, even if they understand it, they'll forget it faster than your Wi-Fi during state testing. So how do we keep the CI flowing without sounding like a GPS in a telenovela? I'm glad you asked. Here's your human-to-human fix kit. Add personalization daily. Every day, ask one weird, wonderful, delightfully unnecessary personal question in the target language. Who here loves pineapple on pizza? Raise your hand if you've ever cried during a Disney movie. Which one of you thinks socks should never match? It doesn't matter if it connects to the unit. It connects to them. And that's what makes the language sticky. Your classroom becomes a place where the language means something. Then, do the human graph. This one's a crowd favorite. Ask an opinion-based question and have students physically move to a corner of the room to show their response. Who prefers dogs? Who loves cats? Who thinks llamas are superior and should rule the world? Once they've grouped, boom, you've got something to talk about in the target language. Maria likes cats. Carlos likes dogs. Jorge likes spiders. Now it's not just input, it's interactive input. And students are moving, reacting, and speaking because they care. Also, classroom management bonus. You're getting them up and moving before they can start low-key napping. Then you want to create a weird fact wall. Yes, a wall. A literal display. Invite your students to share bizarre, funny, mildly alarming facts about themselves in the target language. Mario once ate 37 tacos in 1 hour. Emily met a parrot who knew how to cuss in French. Louis is allergic to mango-scented markers. Put the facts up. Refer to them often. Bring them into your stories. Does Mario eat tacos? Yes, yes, he does. All of them. The wall becomes sacred. It's a shrine of inside jokes and linguistic pride. And every time you mention it, students go, he remembered. No, really, they do. And that's the magic. So here's the deal. CI isn't a robot monologue. It's a language party, and every student needs an invite. If your input feels flat, add them to it. Personalize it, weird it up. Get them to see themselves in language, and suddenly it sticks. The taco stick, the parrot sticks, the llama and sunglasses sticks. And that's when you know you didn't just teach them words, you gave them memories in another language. So listen, if you've ever repeated the same question so many times, you briefly questioned your existence, given a monologue on Gustar that rivaled the Gettysburg Address, clutched your script like it was the One Ring, tossed a vocab list at students like it was a magic spell, or turned into a CI robot chirping out, there is a student, the student has a sandwich. Congratulations, you're completely normal, and also very fixable. The truth is, switching to comprehensible input is kind of like trying to ride a unicycle while juggling flaming tacos. It's awkward at first, messy, sometimes dangerous, occasionally delicious. But with the right tweaks, it becomes the most engaging, hilarious, student-centered teaching experience you'll ever have. Now it's your turn. What's the funniest or most painfully relatable mistake you've made when you switched to CI? Did you circle yourself into a coma? Did you overexplain I like it was a rare philosophical concept? Did your script get hijacked by a student who decided the main character was a talking cheese stick? Drop your story in the comments. Let's normalize the chaos and laugh through the learning. Also, we might feature your story in the next video, so bring the drama. And remember, dynamic discipline isn't just about managing behavior. It's your secret weapon for creating a classroom where students listen, laugh, and learn without the constant sit down, stop talking, where's your shoe? If you're making the CI switch and your students are still acting like gremlins after midnight, this is your next move. Classroom management strategies that don't kill the CI vibe, immediate wins you can implement tomorrow, and yes, solutions that work even for that kid who meows during reading time. Sign up at mm.us/discipline and get ready to finally teach without yelling into the void. Now, you've laughed, maybe cried, definitely flinched at the memory of your first 10 CI attempts. Now what? Go watch CI Day 1 Survival Kit. These 3 tricks just work. It's the perfect follow-up, packed with 3 concrete strategies that you can use literally on your next teaching day. Whether your CI Day 1 is coming up or came and went like a caffeine-fueled fever dream, this video will help you fix it fast. Thanks for hanging out with me through this wild ride of CI mistakes and fixes. And remember, if your students are laughing, listening, and learning in the target language, you're already winning. Make it weird, make it joyful, make it personal. And until next time, happy comprehensible input.